What's up, Boat fam? Welcome to Chargers Talk 4630. And this is the weekend edition of this podcast. And I'm thinking about that big matchup tomorrow at SoFi Stadium where the Chargers take on the Indianapolis Colts. There's some things I want to discuss about this game coming on tomorrow. I promise not to take up too much of your time. I know it is a Saturday, and I know this is a time for some people to relax. And for some people, you're busy doing laundry or catching up to your favorite TV shows or whatever you do on this day. But I just want to take up a few minutes of your time just to chat with you about this big matchup tomorrow. Now, the Colts come in red hot at 5-1, while the Chargers is sitting at 4-2 and trying to remain undefeated in the AFC. This is a crucial game for the Chargers as they're trying to stay ahead of the Chiefs and the Broncos in the AFC West, and going 5-0 in the conference will be huge for playoff positioning later in the season. Now, for the Colts, they've been solid, right? I hate framing any team like this because you can only play the teams that you schedule to. And they always say you're only as good as your competition. And there's still a narrative floating around that they haven't beaten anybody yet. Now, let's look at the opponents that they faced so far. They beat the Miami Dolphins 33-8. They beat the Denver Broncos 29-28. They beat the Tennessee Titans 41-20. They lost to the Rams 27-20. Destroyed the Las Vegas Raiders 40-6, and they edged out Arizona Cardinals 31-27. So maybe the Rams was the best opponent they faced so far, and they lost that one. But with all due respect, the Broncos are tough too, but we've already beaten them. So this is their chance to prove they're legit and to show they can take down one of the best quarterbacks in football, and that's Justin Herbert. So to be honest, I don't think you could label this a must-win game in Week 7, but it sure feels like one to me if we're trying to win the AFC West. Now, for me, it's about the Chargers protecting home field, right? Staying undefeated in the AFC and keeping pressure on Denver and Kansas City in the division. A win for the Colts will move them to 6-1, keep them on top of the AFC South, and silence the critics who's questioning the teams that they beat. This is one of those games, right, where both teams have a lot on the line, where the Chargers are trying to create some space between teams in their division, and the Colts is fighting to be recognized as the best in the conference. Now, let's look at the injury report for both teams. I got it pulled up here. Okay, I have the injury report for the Chargers. You got tackle Joe Alt, who was practicing this week but was limited. He's doubtful. You got Darius Davis, Troy Dye, and running back Hassan Haskins is questionable. Khalil Mack was limited this week. He's questionable. Elijah Molden did not practice all week. He's doubtful. You got Denzel Perriman, who practiced full the whole week. He's questionable. And you have offensive lineman Jamari Salyer, who was limited all week, and he's questionable. Let's go to the Colts. The Colts have wide receivers Josh Downs and Ashton Doolin is out. Running back Tyler Goodson is questionable. Cornerback Kenny Moore is questionable. And cornerback Javarius Ward is also out of this game. So for the Chargers, if Khalil Mack and Denzel Perriman can go, that's a major boost for this defense, especially when it comes to stopping Jonathan Taylor. The Colts are also thin at receiver and in the secondary, and that can open things up for Justin Herbert if he's got good protection tomorrow. Now, I think this is a matchup between the Chargers offensive line versus the Colts defensive line. I don't know if Joe Alt can go or not, but let's just say he's not active for this game. And you already got Trey Pipkins out. The Chargers offensive line will have a major test. If Herbert is not getting clean pockets, DeForest Buckner can become a problem. But if the line can do a good enough job and keep Herbert clean, the Colts secondary can be had. Herbert, when having time in the pocket, can wing it just as good as any quarterback in this league. And we've already seen Ladd McConkey, who's heating up now, which spells trouble for a team that is vulnerable on the back end like the Colts are. My belief is this. The Chargers can win this game if they can just contain Jonathan Taylor's explosive runs, right? I mean, after all this been said about Daniel Jones, and I get it, he gets props for what he's done so far after 6 games, but Jonathan Taylor is the Colts offense, and he can do damage running the ball as well as catching out the backfield, whether it's in the flat or in the screen game. But if Mack and Perriman can play, that gives this Chargers a better chance to slow down the run, and with Khalil back, he can set the edge, which that was exposed since he's been out, and force Daniel Jones to beat them through the air. And for the Colts, of course, they got to pressure Justin Herbert. If they can get in his face early and take away the deep reads, they can hang around in this game. But if they can't get to him, Herbert is going to have a big day. And I think he will. And I think Lat McConkey will continue to be a difference maker. He appears to be in his zone, and I think the Chargers tight end Oronde Gaston is beginning to hit his stride, and I think the Chargers will run the ball just good enough to keep the defense honest. And for me, it really comes down to this. Stop the run and make it about Daniel Jones against Justin Herbert. And I'll take my guy over anybody else in the National Football League. It should be a great game tomorrow for sure, maybe the game of the week. Well, that's it for this weekend edition. Drop your predictions in the comments as to who you got and why. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to get the latest Chargers content. Also, join me and my son, Justin, as we chat about the results of the game shortly afterwards on BoatCap, which you can watch right here on Chargers Talk 4630, or you can tune into us wherever you get your podcasts. Enjoy your Saturday, enjoy the game tomorrow, and I'll talk to you soon. Boat up.